Right, should we get into some nerdy news then? We've covered the gaming shit. Let's talk
Yes.
about what's going on in the entertainment world. Starting off, Bloomhouse has acquired the rights to the Soar franchise. Lionsgate are expected to still be working with the franchise as a partner, but this acquiring of rights by Bloomhouse does return creative control to James Wan. So that's an interesting one for the horror fans out there. Fantastic Four First Steps had a better first day for ticket sales on Fandango than any other film so far this year. The Fantastic Four hype is real, ladies and gentlemen, and then tickets are selling aggressively.
Pedro Pascal tax.
I saw it crashed some cinema sites.
Yeah. It's not uncommon. I feel like cinema sites in America are made of string cheese because they seem to go down anytime even a remotely exciting film. Yeah, it's crazy. The live action Mass Effect show is still going to be moving forward at Prime Video with the showrunner from Mindhunter, the very popular and then cancelled Netflix show. So, someone who knows what they're doing and has to make good TV involved. So, that's quite exciting. Warner Brothers Discovery are re-splitting. They will be splitting into two companies, one for streaming and studios and one for global network television. So, to put this into context, Warner Brothers and Discovery, 2, maybe 3 years ago, did a merger. They became Warner Brothers Discovery. That led to the HBO app becoming Max and all of that shit rebranding for 4 years that we've been dealing with. After that, this merger has gone so atrociously, they are now splitting themselves back into two companies.
I fear this all came from the one, because it came out that it was one exec's big ego that wanted the Max branding. He thought, like, everyone in marketing was telling him it was a bad idea, and he's like, no, I want us to do this. And they did it, and it went fucking shockingly. Wild that marketing know what they're talking about. And just kind of has pulled this whole merger apart, which is quite funny.
This merger has got to go down as a top 10, like, modern corporate fuckery. Like, what are we doing?
Is it? Or have they just hid a fuck ton of money in losses that they're now not going to get taxed on? Because each year they're going to be like, oh, we're still paying off our loss from last year.
I get that, but it's not exactly helped anyone because, like, last week there was an unofficial vote and all of the fucking shit. Oh, sorry, 65% of shareholders of Warner Brothers Discovery thought that David Zaslav was being paid far too much money.
They're
like,
right.
An absolute shit show. An absolute shit show. So funny, but my God. The Legend of Zelda film has been delayed till May 7th, 2027. Delays happen if a video game is even within proximity of a project, apparently. I've seen a lot of people tweeting that casting director saw Hunter Schafer and realised they had to have her for Zelda. So they were just like, starting again until we land her, nothing else happens, which is quite funny. Yeah, I'm excited for this film. I think there's some real promise here. I'd rather they take their time and make sure they get a solid script in place instead of just trying to rush it out the door. As long as Chris Pratt isn't hired to voice anyone, I have hope.
Stop.
As long as they don't shove live action people in an animated world, we should be fine.
Yeah. We got a new Ironheart teaser trailer. Obviously, Ironheart start seeing 2 weeks yesterday. 6 episodes. I think they're all dropping on the 24th June, which is just lovely. Just hiding a show. This trailer was quite cool though because we got to see Riri merging some magic into the suit. I was
going to say some dark looking magic.
Yeah, so I love the idea of a bit of a tech magic combo at some point.
Could kind of go kind of cool.
Yeah, but there was a shot of her in the old school Iron Man heads up display, and they had changed it to have some the magic runes in there as well, which I thought was cool as fuck. And we also got some kind of inclination of an AI that she's built that she can interact with. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah, that
because in
weird.
the comics, that AI is Tony Stark. And that's where the relationship between Riri and Tony comes from. She accidentally finds like a data shard and builds an AI from it, and it's Tony Stark.
Got you.
And I think that's why there was like that throwaway line of "Who did you expect it to be?"
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how I feel about that. This is fucking brilliant news, though. So 2 or 3 days ago, SAG announced that they had a tentative voice acting agreement in place for gaming, so there was a chance the strike may soon end. As of noon today American time, literally while we were recording this episode, they announced the strike is officially on hold and work can resume.
Pog.
Providing this all gets properly ratified and no studios fuck with anything now, the voice acting strike is over, ladies and gentlemen. They got what they deserved. They got what they wanted. We are back in business now that I believe that's all of the major strikes over now. We should be back into a point for the first time post-COVID where stuff can progress relatively unimpeded.
I was going to say,
it was necessary.
Well, which guild hasn't yet?
The
only one I know is the Animators Guild didn't fully strike.
So the Animation Guild went on strike, but they got a lot of individual agreements in place with studios who very quickly were like, "Yep, we're happy with that," and they were like straight back to work. And there's a couple that are still not. The problem with the animation side is not as many animators are part of the guild. So like Disney animators aren't. Yeah, like Disney animators for the longest time haven't been part of a union.
Yeah.
So that one's a bit more complicated. James Gunn has confirmed that a Wonder Woman film is now in development, which is kind of exciting.
And it's going to be Gal Gadot!
I will turn on James Gunn so incredibly fast, he'll think his name is Zack Snyder. The speed at which I will turn on that motherfucker if Gal Gadot is anywhere near the DCU would be biblical.
Got to make the canon make sense. She's been in every film.
It's kind of exciting to know that this is happening, and it's starting to make the DCU feel like it's actually going to survive a little while now that we know projects are happening. Obviously, Superman's coming out in a month today as we're recording this. We've got the Lanterns project in development. We've got Peacemaker Season 2. Supergirl has not long finished filming. Like, stuff is moving. It's exciting. Now, this is the most exciting. Connor's running away with a quote a little bit. James Gunn has said that he is working on the next film after Superman. But he has said it is not a straight-up Superman sequel. I am taking this to mean that it is a world's finest film, and for the uninitiated, world's finest is Superman and Batman. Team up. World's finest, I swear to God, if the reveal is, and it's not beyond the realms of possibility of how the last 6 months have gone, that they cut the Brave and the Bold, Robert Pattinson's Batman does become the DCU Batman, we get Batman 2 is actually happening, and that is going to lead into World's Finest. I'm going to become unbearably excited so fast.
Sounds like copium.
One of my first superhero films that I used to watch religiously was an old, the animated series made for TV film, which was essentially a World's Finest story, where Lex Luthor and the Joker swapped heroes, and the Joker went after Superman and Lex went after Batman. And it's a fucking masterpiece, and all I need is that energy captured in live action. And I think we now have the actors for it in Arbats and David Cornsweet.
I think it could. There's a chance it could be World's Finest. I just don't know if they do use our parts.
Oh, the bigger copium part of that is absolutely Patterson.
Yeah.
But that comes from the quote earlier this week of of James Gunn saying that Batman 2 is a big part of their plans at DC, and they're going to be getting a script any day now, and they're very excited. So people have taken that to mean, oh, well, James Gunn only cares about his universe, so this must mean it's part of his universe. Which is obviously bullshit. James Gunn is the head of DC. He cares about DC as a whole.
Yep.
But I'm going to keep huffing that copium at the idea of getting them to acting. Because the more I see of David Cornsweet in teasers, the more I'm convinced Superman does actually exist. David Cornsweet is what chuds think Henry Cavill was. And I'll take the flack from that, from the fucking
Yeah, you're going to get rinsed, mate.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. They can suck my rod. Henry Cavill's a dog shit actor. And thanks to Josh and his enormous wealth, the Switch has already sold in excess of 3.5 million units, making it Nintendo's fastest selling console.
Which is an interesting one, because
Go
on social media, from what I've seen, the Switch 2 is getting a lot of hate.
Really? I've not seen any of that.
Yeah,
It's more just the classic, like, why is it so expensive? Hasn't got OLED. But, like, everyone's like, oh, it's basically just the Switch 1. But the numbers...
Except this handheld console, which is thin as anything and gorgeous, can run Cyberpunk in a fucking reasonable way. That is genuine black magic.
Yeah, but that doesn't fit the narrative, mate.
No, it doesn't. What actually made me really excited about this stat is that they physically had enough units for that.
They're like, you can walk into like the
you
shop
can still
and
get
buy
them
a
at the
Switch
moment.
2. Yeah,
no, but that's what I mean. The fact
feasible,
that it's their
accessible.
fastest selling product ever, and if I wanted one right now, I could go and get one, is like refreshing. But I feel like since COVID hit, getting an electronic at MSRP near launch has been impossible. So the fact that something like the Switch 2, which had a lot of excitement around it, was able to be a record seller for Nintendo and not just be because of 1 million pre-orders is really exciting, I think.
Yeah.
It makes me confident that in November I'm going to get my ROG X Ally and not have to be worried about scalpers.
If you get the high price point one, mate, you should be alright.
I want it. I want it so bad. I will kick a child in the face for it. I don't care. It'll be worth it.